I just recorded a huge long video and then it didn't record. So I have to try and remember what I said, and it really flowed in the last one, so I'm so annoyed. But it's obviously meant to be. Maybe I missed something out somewhere. So I wanted to talk about twin flame runners today. This is probably going to trigger some people. People are not going to agree, and that's fine. But I'm just offering my opinion. You're going to say, who am I to offer my opinion when I'm not in twin flame union? But I have let go of two very strong twin flame connections. I don't have any pull to anybody right now. I don't have those kind of wound pulls, although I still yearn on some level to unite with my connection. And also, I have a few friends lately. I just have much clearer insights at this point of time on my journey. And I have some friends around me in the last 6 to 8 months who have gotten into physical union, I truly believe, with their twin. So I've observed these connections as well, and I can bring that information to you. So why do I not believe in the twin flame runner? Well, let's look at where the concept even began. Like, where did it come from to have a twin flame runner? Mostly it was created by people who had a twin flame runner. Basically, that had a very strong connection to somebody they truly believed was their twin flame, who didn't want to know, or it wasn't available, or ran away, or whatever. And then they labelled them as a runner, assuming they had the same strong feelings, but were scared of the connection and unable to move forwards into a union. Actually, when I see people that I truly feel are in a union, they don't really talk about twin flame runners. They actually pretty much say, what my insights tell me is that your twin flame wouldn't run, because it's not the way the connection's set up. Don't get me wrong, there's triggers. When I look at these dynamics, these people that have gotten into union, they have very strong triggers and huge periods where they are having different things come up, but they're able to deal with them without breaking up. And I don't believe that you meet your twin flame till you're ready to handle that. Both sides are able to handle dissolving triggers by communicating rather than running away. And maybe there'll be the odd exception out there, and I'd love to be proved wrong on that. But remember, a lot of people can say they're twin flames as well when they're soulmates, and that's no judgment on any particular people. I'm just saying, just because somebody says they're in a twin flame union doesn't mean they are. You have to use your own, you really have to dig deep and feel what you think about that, and do you resonate with that being a twin flame union? And things change. There's people that I've thought are now, I've gone up a few frequencies, I think, wow, they're I don't feel they are, but it's fine if they want to go and do stuff as a couple and make videos, coach people, all kinds of things, and that's their journey, and the people that are looking for advice, that's their journey as well. And no names whatsoever, and again, it's all your own resonance. Who do you resonate with as being true twin flames, and you want to look to them for guidance? So that's a big part of it. I mean, a big part is learning to be your own source and get your own ideas on things without even having to go to other people. But of course, on the way, we need to kind of stop off and hear other people's thoughts to help trigger our own. But my strong, overwhelming feeling at this point in the journey, and it hasn't always been this at all, is that twin flames don't run. In all the cases I've seen, actually dropping the ego is less painful than splitting for twin flames getting into union. Whereas I find with the runners, it's less painful to run than to split. So they obviously find splitting is less painful than having to deal with their ego. And that's where I think a big difference is between twin flame teachers. That's what I call them. I call connections that are very twin flame-like and feel like twin flames, but don't want to stick around, or is toxic, or doesn't have, just doesn't have that divine union sense about it. I call them twin flame teachers now. And they're people that are just opening you up to your own lessons in love, and how to love yourself, and how to set boundaries, and they are love lessons, so they can open you up to deal with your twin flame. Because I truly believe that once you're at that level, you will meet your twin flame, and then there will be no running, because you would both rather drop your ego and adhere to one another's boundaries, you know, within reason, than to split. When I say boundaries, I don't mean like unreasonable boundaries. I'm meaning self-care boundaries and things that you, for example, I want an exclusive relationship. That's what I'm looking for right now. If you don't want that, that's cool. There's no anger with that, but you know, that's not what I'm looking for, and to stand by that. And then if the other person is really your twin flame, they will want that too, and they will step forwards to that boundary. And if they're not, then they'll probably run away, and then people tend to attach to that and cling on and make all these reasons as to why they're running, and it's because they're scared, or they are still in their ego, or all of these different things. And I just don't, it doesn't resonate for me anymore whatsoever. It resonates for me that you're more likely to not have noticed your twin flame because of all your programs and concepts have blocked them out. They could be sat next to you, but if you're still heavily in your programs and your concepts and you haven't seen through the veils, you wouldn't recognize that person as your twin flame because it's an energetic connection. So you might think, oh, they're a nice person, but it wouldn't really go any further than that. And while you're pulled and obsessing and sure these other people are your twin flames because they're pulling on your wounds and they're activating your growth and your self-healing. I personally think a lot of us get unconditional love wrong, the concept. A lot of people that I see with runners have quite weak boundaries, and they allow being ignored, they allow somebody they want to have an exclusive relationship going here, there and everywhere, and then just coming back when they want. Just generally quite weak boundaries. And I think a lot of us have quite weak boundaries when we meet somebody that we think is our twin flame, because we think, oh my God, this is it. So, you know, I'm going to have to adhere to it and let this person do whatever. And there's also a lot of excuses like, oh, because they're scared, or that's the biggest one, because they're scared of the connection. So they're running away from it. And I just feel unconditional love is not that at all. Unconditional love is unconditional love for self, because until you have unconditional love for self, you can't love anybody else. That's why anger feelings come up and resentment feelings come up, because it wasn't unconditional in the first place. You really only wanted to love them and pretend to be unconditional because you were hoping they would love you back. And when they don't, then the anger and the resentment that you've over-efforted something that hasn't come to fruition sets in. It's not with everybody, but I had a lot of anger come up on my journey with my first connection that I was really sure was my twin. I was very angry. I'd get all these anger feelings come up and resentment feelings, but it's because I was never unconditional about that connection at all. I wanted him to want me. And I might have pretended I was unconditional, but, you know, I wasn't. And I don't think until you really, really love yourself, because when you love yourself, you can be unconditional, because you can put boundaries down, and boundaries allow you to be unconditional, because then you can say, I'm not looking for somebody who ignores me, but I accept that as who you are, and I accept that about you, and that's fine. And you can go off and do your own thing, and, you know, that's not what I want in my life. And those kind of boundaries really show unconditional love, because you unconditionally love yourself enough, which means you can then accept and not judge anyone else's behaviour, but you can choose not to have it in your life. So I do find a lot of running situations generally are centred around people that don't have particularly strong boundaries when it comes to romantic connections. And that's just time to evaluate in your own life whether you feel like your boundaries are strong and you're getting everything that you need to fulfill yourself from the dynamic. And I just say, if not, let it go. Because, I mean, if they are a twin flame and the running concept for you just happens to be your dynamic that you've chosen, then they will come back, you know, and setting a boundary isn't going to make people disappear forever who's your twin flame. So it's obviously not, you know, the right time. I don't believe in runners full stop, but if there is one and it does exist and somebody does get to be, you know, someone's runner does come back and completely transform and change, and I'm sure it's happened, and I'm sure that is an example that has happened at some point, then you know, it's not going to change anything by you just letting it go if it's running and it can't offer you what you need. Because we tend to hang on to them thinking, oh, it's my twin. And I think the forums make it worse as well, because there's all these groups and forums and everyone collectively gets together and talks about their running twin. So it becomes more normal that a twin flame runs, and that's kind of the expected, that when somebody you feel is your twin flame and have a really strong connection to runs, you automatically think it definitely is your twin, because all these other people are going through the same experience. But you know, actually most people are going through twin flame teacher relationships, and if you actually look at those who have gotten into a union and you truly believe, and that's where it comes down to your own personal resonance, it's very different dynamics with them. And most of them didn't run and chase first. They got together, and sure, they had a lot of shit come up, but they dealt with it without breaking up. Or maybe they did for a day or a few hours or something, but they didn't go into these super long disappearances and re-emergence. And you know, I've seen people in these dynamics for decades and nothing has changed, nothing. They're still just as toxic as when they started out, but they just come back with a few more promises. And I just doing this video to say to people, obviously your journey is your journey, but just, you know, don't hold on to these runner twin flames as being it. You know, there is more out there, and I know it all feels very, because we shouldn't even be attached to the form, because it is, twin flame is an energy connection. You know, they might have gone into the body of Peter and they look 6'4" and they've got, you know, but that's not who your twin flame is. A twin flame is an energy connection that you're sharing to another soul. And whatever form they've come into this lifetime, how do you know they might change bodies, or anything is possible in, you know, in this realm of possibility. So to get so attached to a personality and a physical form of somebody is still very much in the 3D, because it's a soul you're attached to. So be open-minded as to where that twin flame energy is going to show up in its union form, you know, because it might not be the same as the energy you're connecting to right now and is running away and leaving you. You know, that energy, that twin flame energy, when it really balances out and it's in the person that you're going to unify with, like, you know, just let go of the person and the attachment to that particular name and person and form, because that's not what the twin flame journey is about. It's about merging and becoming whole within. And all these people are great. I'm not saying like don't learn from them and don't utilize them as a tool of growth, because all these twin flame teacher type dynamics are amazing. They're teaching us how to love. They're teaching us how to love ourselves first and foremost, and how to have, you know, a healthier dynamic, and how to evolve and ascend. So they all have their place and they're all useful, and they're not to be hated or dismissed when they come along. But, you know, I think people can attach onto them for too long because of the twin flame runner dynamic thing that's all over the internet, and, you know, miss out on real growth and real potential to be with their twin flame. So, you know, if this doesn't resonate to you, that's fine. Like you know, I'm where I am, and if you have different beliefs, that's completely up to you as well. But I'm just sharing this for those people that are starting to have, you know, a few doubts. Maybe they've had a runner for a while, and, you know, maybe it will just trigger something for me to share what resonates for me at this point of my journey. Sorry, I've actually lost track of some of the things that I've said and not said, because I've now tried this video. This is my third time, because the first time it didn't record, and then the second time I just didn't feel it was as good as the first. So I've now actually forgotten like what I've said in what video. So hopefully I've covered everything. If I haven't, I'll maybe like make an addition one. But yeah, just if someone's running away, I really don't believe that they're a twin flame. I think it's much more likely you've known your twin flame and you didn't feel anything for them, than your twin flame has been romantic and is now running. Because I think if you're still in your programs and you're still responding to your programs, which I know everyone likes to think, oh no, I don't have any programs, but, you know, I guarantee probably most people have programs running. I still have programs running. But as you start to see through them, then you start not to be like pulled because of them. Because most of the people that we're pulled to, and we feel that like obsession and that pull and that, oh, this is my twin flame, and you know, this is the person, is a lot of it is wound pulling, and it's people basically triggering our like programs, and we're attracted to them because of our programs. And I actually feel like you probably wouldn't even see your twin flame until you'd gone through a lot of them and seen through a lot of your programs and your patterns, because your twin flame is an energy connection, and it's an energy connection of unconditional love. So if you're still being kind of pulled and triggered, the likelihood is that you've not even seen through to be able to recognize your twin flame yet, and they could be sat right next to you. This is what really resonates for me at the moment anyway. And yeah, I hope it helped some people, and I hope I've explained it properly. The first one was so much better, but I'm never going to get that one back. So I'm trying to remember what I said, because I don't write things down, I just flow with what I feel I'm supposed to channel. And I lost my really free-flowing one, so for whatever reason there must have been something that I missed out. But yeah, it's really a video about not attaching and clinging to people who are runners and think it's okay because lots of other people in the forum have a runner too, so that has to be how twin flames are, because very few people in those forums are in a union. You know, like I said, the unions that I know of, there wasn't any running and chasing. Sure, there was loads of triggers, loads of stuff come up, loads to deal with, maybe like a tiny bit of running, like at the beginning, like a day or something, or a week, but there wasn't this extended period of running, fear, and, you know, there was stuff come up, but it was dealt with. I think that's the big thing that really resonates for me, is with your true twin, it's more painful to split than it is to drop your ego. So you would want to drop your ego to move closer to your twin, to build more intimacy between you. Like, it would be the innate desire. Think about how you want to do for all these people, and it would be somebody that matches that, and you both want to move deeper and more intimately with one another. And yeah, dropping the ego is painful, but to be apart is so painful that you would want to drop and discuss it and help work through it and dissolve it to get closer with one another. People that just run away and would rather run and deal with their ego, I don't think they're twin flames, and I think they're twin flame teachers. Twin flame is a hugely evolved spiritual relationship. It's going beyond gurus and, you know, twin flame spiritual gurus that have been around and considered really high, and it goes beyond all of that. And I think we take it a little bit lightly as to what it is, and a lot of these twin flame teacher relationships are really, really strong and really intense, and it doesn't mean that they are twin flames. So I hope this was useful for everybody, and yeah, I'll answer any that aren't. Basically just say no, like, you know, I don't believe that, like, because I get it, like, I get that, promise you, I've been in that situation where I wouldn't have listened to anybody, and I was so sure this person was my twin flame. And if you're still there, that's cool, you know, you've got your own journey to walk, and that's fine. But for people that are starting to question, maybe this will just trigger something in you, because this is really where I'm resonating at the moment. I actually currently have no attachment to anybody. I had a real void. I let go of the second real strong twin flame dynamic I had towards the end of last year, and then I just had a massive void for months. And I think it's the void of not attaching on to a concept anymore, and it's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do now? And I really have this feeling right now of completion, and the feeling that I've learnt my love lessons, if that makes sense, and I'm just ready to open in and to let in a divine union, but we'll see what comes up. But I do think a big part of this is just letting go of that real attachment and just seeing it as an opportunity to learn the lessons, because once we've learned our lessons in love, like, a union is there waiting. And so, you know, whatever and whoever is taking you there, but I do think sometimes this attachment can really hold people back from being open to meeting that person and from recognising their true twin and for union happening. So, you know, letting go of them being your twin if they're running is nothing can go wrong with that, because they're probably not your twin, and if they are, then you know when it's right and your energy is at the right place, they'll be back anyway. So, and it will be totally different, because this runner dynamic is just toxic. It's just totally toxic, and it's exasperated and highlighted by people in twin flame groups and forums talking about it all the time, and they're runners, and you know, the obsession, and it becomes the norm, and it becomes really accepted. So everybody thinks that it's fine to be hanging on to this person who's either treating them badly, cheating on them all the time, not wanting to be with them, in another relationship, you know, and all these things. So hopefully it's answered a few of the things maybe that have been coming up, because this is my opinion on where I stand on twin flame runners. So sorry this video wasn't as concise and well done as the first one, but I've done my best. So hope everyone's okay.